Thank you very much for your very kind words. Honorable members of the High Table, ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues. Indeed, it is very thrilling for me to be here celebrating the 40th anniversary of FIGO. FIGO is very, very, very close to me because my relationship with it goes, as you just have heard, back to its inception. And this goes back to the year 1971, which was just the FIGO starting. When I read in, I think at that time I was in UK, when I read in the BMJ an ad about the ATMF program, and that's Advanced Technique of Management of Fertility, which FIGO arranged with the AUB, and that's the American University of Beirut. And that was 1 month training on laparoscopic technique and colposcopic technique in the American University of Beirut under the direction of Professor Adnan Morowa and Karam Karam. So when I was in UK, I sent in I filled in the form and I sent it, and then I forgot all about it. And then in 1972, then I went back to Cairo, and I was there, and then I received that my application had been accepted, and then I am due to go in August, the year 1974. So I said, well, that's great. I got married in July 1974. So I said, fine, then if it is August, then I could go there for my honeymoon months. Which I did, actually. I went to Scotland, and then I went to Beirut for August 1974. And then received an invitation from Dr. Tidor Baramki, signed by our great professor Howard Jones, who was the director of the FIGO. And Tidor invited me with Howard Jones to the workshop in Geneva, which was organized by the FIGO. And that workshop was on contemporary reproductive medicine for the Middle East. And they gave the choice of each chairman of the department of all the universities in the Middle East that the invitation is for the chairman and one whom he chooses from his university. So I handed the letter to my boss, Professor Dr. Fouad Hifnawi, and you can see his photograph over there. I said, sir, I got this because I went to this program in the American University of Beirut, and there is an invitation for you, and you pick up one of your colleagues from the department to go and attend this contemporary reproductive workshop, reproductive medicine workshop in Geneva. So I said, okay, fine. He didn't tell me anything. And then later on, he came and said, well, Gamal, you will be coming to Geneva with me. I said, why? He said, you are going to go to the FIGO conference. I said, oh, thank you very much. So I went there, and when I went there, I found all the chairmen of the universities of the Middle East there, but the second person was probably either the most senior one or the most, or the immediate next senior one. And I was the only young kid among all of them. So I was really surprised, so, but that was the choice of my boss then. And then I asked him, I said, Professor, if now, why did you choose me? He said, well, I want to show to the Johns Hopkins that we have people who knows about women's health and who knows about endoscopy and knows about ultrasonography, up to date. At that time, it was up to date, cutting edge knowledge. So I said, oh, thank you very much. And then we spent 1 week in Geneva during this contemporary workshop. And of course, I was, very little guy, and with those great big professors. And then just the day before, the end of the workshop, Professor Hefnawi came and told me, Gamal, we are going to have dinner with Howard Jones, Theodore King, Baramki at the Metropole Hotel in Geneva. This is a lovely hotel, almost 6 stars hotel, directly by the lake. So I said, fine, thank you very much for the invitation. So I went for the invitation, for the dinner. And as the conversation was going on, then Professor Hefnawi told them that he would like to send me to Johns Hopkins. So Howard Jones immediately said, oh yes, Gamal, yes, we can take you. And Theodore Baramki was very supportive. So he said, okay, we'll come for 1 month. I said, fine. And then Professor Hefnawi said, well, Gamal, where are you going after you finish this workshop? I said, I'm going to Cairo. So he said, no, you go to Johns Hopkins. So you have to travel directly from here to Baltimore. So I said, well, you know, how come, you know, because, and this was in 1976, October 1976. I said, well, Professor Hefnawi, my wife, she is pregnant and she's having twin pregnancy. So I said, okay, take her with you. So I had to call my wife and said, well, we are going to Baltimore. She said, are you mad? I said, well, you know, this is the order of my professor. I can't say no, you know. And of course, in those good old days, we used to listen to our professors, you know. That's different, yeah. So I said, Professor Hefnawi said, so I must go. So she said, oh, okay. Then we made arrangement, and we met actually at the Geneva airport. When, I told her about the schedule which I booked. So we went to Baltimore and spent there 1 month. And that's where the collaboration started with the JPIGO. And then at the end of the month, then Howard Jones and Baramki, they invited me for lunch. There was a little cafe just behind the Hopkins. I don't know whether they're still there or not. And then I went there for a bite. They said a quick bite. So fine, and then we went. And then while we were having our bite and the glass of beer, and then Howard Jones said, well, Gamal, we are thinking of establishing a training center in Cairo for the Asia and Africa. How about you taking on this task? I said, well, thank you very much. I have to talk to my professor. So I said, okay, you do this and then let me know. Then I went and asked for Professor Hefnawi. They want to establish a training center. So I said, of course, yes, write to them. And he immediately wrote the letter. And that's how we started the Al-Azhar JPIGO Training Center at Al-Azhar University. And we trained doctors, large number of doctors from all over the world, particularly from Asia and Africa. And we used to hold a course for about 10 to 15 doctors every 3 months. So we have had 4 courses every year. And the way it was run, that the course for 2 weeks, and then we trained them on laparoscopic tubal ligation, and then they go back to their home, and then we fix a schedule for them so that they come in groups of 1 or 2, and they spend with us 1 week on practical training, where I demonstrate to them laparoscopic sterilization, and then after I assist them in a number of cases, and then they go back home. And then I used to field visit them in their own countries while they are operating in the room. But I take with me laprocator, which is a gift from the JPIGO. And with this laprocator, we start the laprocator and then start to perform cases, assist them, and then supervise them in performing cases. And this is how it went on. From the laprocator, which we used to be insufflated with air, but then after this we developed laparoscopic surgery and then microsurgery. So this really takes me back to the fact that JPIGO has been an active player on women's health on the international scene. Till today, whenever I go anywhere in Asia and Africa or in Europe, I come across candidates who came, oh, Dr. Serour, I received my training at the JPIGO program at your hospital in Al-Azhar University. So this is how JPIGO is. Now, with my position as president of FIGO, we have projects going on with JPIGO. We have the pre-eclampsia, the postpartum hemorrhage workshop, the projects. We have other projects with FIGO. So I really would like to congratulate FIGO on its achievement. You started strong, you were born strong, and the baby grew up. Now it is really a young man who is 40, or a woman could be, who is 40 years old, but really is capable of performing its role in improving women's health all over the world, particularly in the developing country. So my most sincere congratulations to you all, and I wish you all the success in your endeavor to improve women's and newly born health all over the world. Thank you.